My name is Tyler Doggett. I teach at the University of Vermont, and I'm going to talk about whether it's morally permissible to kill animals for food. One thing I'm not going to talk about is whether it's morally permissible to eat animals for food. I'm also not going to talk about whether it's morally okay, to buy animals for food. What I want to talk about is whether it's morally permissible to kill animals for food in the first place. And we do kill a lot of animals for food each year. Millions of pigs are killed for food each year. Is that permissible? Over 20 million pigs were killed last year for food. Is that morally permissible? In particular, is it morally permissible to kill pigs for food that we don't need to eat? I'm not talking about a situation where you're all alone on a desert island and if you don't kill that pig, you're going to die. I'm talking about the situation we're in right now, which is we don't have to kill pigs to eat. We could all eat kale sandwiches. But instead, because they're delicious, we kill millions of pigs each year. Is that morally permissible? That's what I want to talk about. But let's talk about a different question first. Is it morally permissible to kill people for food? And again, I'm not talking about a situation like the Donner Party or situations where people crash land on a deserted island and if they don't eat each other, they're going to die. I mean, would it be permissible for you to keep some stranger in your house and kill that stranger for food rather than eat a kale sandwich? We don't have to talk about that question for very long. That has an easy answer. No, it is morally impermissible to kill people for food you don't need to eat. So let me ask you this. If it is permissible to kill pigs for food, but not permissible to kill people for food, there must be some difference between pigs and people that explains why it's permissible to kill the pig, but not the person. So what's the difference? Here's an idea. The pig is a pig. The person is a person. So this difference, I think, is supposed to be a difference in genetic makeup, the type of DNA the pig has. That's different from our genetic makeup. So is that the kind of difference that explains why it's morally permissible to kill the pig, but not morally permissible to kill us? Let me ask you this. There's a Twilight Zone episode called To Serve Man. If you want to see that episode, you should skip this part of the video because I'm going to give away something very important. In the Twilight Zone episode To Serve Man, aliens come to Earth. And to make a long story short, they're farming us for food. Is that morally permissible? And I think, no, it's not permissible for me to eat people for food I don't need. Neither is it permissible for aliens to eat us. But then imagine the alien says, but don't you see? You're a different sort of creature than we are. We have totally different genetic makeups. That does not seem like a very good answer the alien's given. One thing you might say is, yes, I see that we have different genetic makeups, but I'm still the kind of thing you shouldn't kill. But a pig might say that to us if we say, it's permissible for us to kill you because you're a pig and we are people. But maybe what you're getting at when you say a pig's a person's a person is people are special because, well, for one thing, we're quite a bit smarter than pigs, which isn't to say pigs are dummies. Pigs are pretty smart. People, just smarter. Okay. One thing you might ask is, why does that make it okay to kill the pig? But that's not what I want to ask. Because while I think you're smarter than a pig, you're watching a philosophy video. Not everyone is smarter than a pig. In fact, we all know some creatures, some people even probably, who are not smarter than pigs. Is it okay to eat those people? No, that's not a hard question. Now, one reason it might be you shouldn't eat people who have mental lives of pigs. We care about those people. It might be that my brother has the mental life of a pig, but it would be wrong to kill him for food because I care about him. But let me ask you two things about this. First, why does caring about my brother make a difference? If the reason it's wrong to kill my severely mentally handicapped brother for food is because I care about him, then what you're saying is the reason it's wrong doesn't have to do with my brother so much as it has to do with me. And that does not seem correct. Seems like there's something about what you're doing to my brother when you kill him for food. It's objectionable. It has nothing to do with what you're doing to me. Well, let me ask you a different question. What if no one cared about my brother? What if my brother, with the mental life of a pig, were a hermit? No one cared about him. No one even knew about him. Would it be permissible to kill him for food then? I don't think so. I still think this is not a hard question. What we're looking for is a difference between people and pigs that explains why it's morally permissible to kill pigs for food, but not permissible to kill people. And we've tried some differences out. They're different species, but that doesn't really seem to explain it. People are smarter, in general, than pigs. That doesn't seem to explain it either. We care about people, don't care about pigs. That doesn't seem to explain it either. What else? Well, here's something people say sometimes when you talk about this. The pig would do it to us. Put a person with a pig. The pig might eventually eat the person. Does that show it's morally permissible for the person to eat the pig? Let me ask you a different question. Have you ever been punched by a very small child? I have. Do you think it was permissible for me to punch the child back, reasoning, he did it to me, therefore it's permissible for me to do it to him? I think that would not be very good reasoning. It would be wrong to punch the child, even though the child would do it to me. In fact, I think the child, if the child is young enough, doesn't do anything wrong if it does it to me. The child is not the kind of thing that does anything right or wrong. But still, we might do wrong to it. Last difference. We're the top of the food chain, where we live in places where we can watch philosophy videos. Obviously, if we lived in the ocean, we wouldn't be the top of the food chain. But where we are, we're the top of the food chain. So isn't it morally permissible for us to take advantage of that and kill whatever we want for food? It might be that we're in a position to do various things to other animals because we're the top of the food chain. But that doesn't mean it's morally permissible for us to do it. I'm a very small person, so I'm constantly dealing with people who are much bigger than I am, who are much stronger than I am, who could pound me to a pulp very easily. Well, imagine they did. And I said, you shouldn't have done that. That was morally wrong. And they say, but don't you see? I'm stronger than you. That's terrible reasoning. Of course they're stronger than me. But what I wanted to know is why it was okay for them to express their strength in that way. Similarly, it might be that we're above the pig on the food chain. And as we get ready to kill the pig to eat it, the pig might say, why are you eating me? And we just say, we can. We have control over you. That does not seem like a very good answer. Sometimes people say something related, which is, that's just the way nature is. That's why it's morally permissible. But it's natural to do all sorts of things that are morally wrong. If you're listening to this video and getting really frustrated, it's natural to want to punch me. It might be natural to punch me, but that doesn't mean you should do it. So, I'm perplexed. I started off asking whether it's okay to kill pigs for food. To answer that question, I asked first a very easy question, whether it's okay to kill people for food. That's an easy question. The answer is no. And then I asked, what's the difference between people and pigs, such that it's permissible to kill pigs for food, even though it's not permissible to kill people? And I've gone through a bunch of differences. None of them seem like they do the work that's required. None of them seem like they explain why it's okay to kill pigs for food, but it's not okay to kill people for food. So I hope you'll help me figure out the answer, or decide it's morally wrong to kill pigs for food. Thanks.